Gemini.
Hello Gemini, this is your April forecast for 2017, and listen, this month what you will be having is the open door socially. So you're going to be like the social butterfly, entertaining friends, groups, maybe organizations. You'll find yourself online a whole lot more. There's a lot of communication taking place, and you are Gemini, so I feel that's all going to work out for you. Your ruler this month will retrograde, so we got Mercury retrograde, and that is from April 10th to May 14th. This will take place just as it dips into your 12th house, but then it's going to move back into that 11th house of hopes and dreams and social activities and so forth. You might find yourself, if needing to speak in front of groups or whatnot, well, you know, there could be a little hiccup, there could be delays, whatnot on your schedules and so forth, but take it with a little grain of salt and a big smile and you'll get straight through it. So we also have Venus this month that will retrograde, and that takes place here until April 15th, so it's already there as you start off the month. But by the 15th, you'll see how it's going to pick up, move forward again, Venus being in your 11th house as well. So for you, that is all about getting your ducks in a row. That has to do with friendships or any kind of communications. If you're working on a project, you can always see Venus being love going into that project. There might be slight delays, there might be a little hiccup here or there, but I see that you're doing well as far as that is concerned. I'd like to say too, karmically, it's a time where we get second chances, right? To come back around and get things balanced up, straightened out. Now, your Sun is here, Uranus is here as well, so I feel that the scope of your social settings is what April is all about. Now, Venus retrograding, it is probably going to be dipping into your career house again. Now, I'd like to say the good news and the upside of that is that you might just come to see that there are opportunities from the past once presented to you back then. Maybe you didn't have time to add it into what you were already doing, but now might just be a better time. So any offers coming your way from the past is okay to contemplate, even initiate, because it was before the retrograde. This is why we like the retrogrades, because it gives us second chances and opportunities, because when life is up and running, we are busy, we got our goals at hand, and we don't really have all the time to process too many other things, at least not things of the past. But this month, having both Venus and Mercury retrograde, really is going to give us that insight, that look to go down below and underneath, and clear out those things that are important to either talk about or find closure on. But it's also another upside, and that is that it brings people back around. Friends from the past, and it could be exes that may come back around as well. Don't be surprised if you're going to get some texts or any kind of comments on your social media, since it is that 11th house, right? That is where it can appear. But Mars is feisty and moving forward and doing its thing, and currently in your 12th house. And the 12th house, Gemini, is always about how we interact with, communicate with our inner self or our higher self, right? Because when we speak about relationships, we always think about it relates to other people out there. That's true, but the first and foremost relationship we all have is the one we have with ourselves. Because we hear ourselves talking to ourselves. We're thinking, we're interacting, we're relating with issues within our own consciousness. We're trying to make peace with certain things, and we're maybe a little bit opposed to other things. So we always have that ongoing partnership with ourselves. And I think you, being a Gemini, know more about that than anybody, because you got that dual nature, right? So you're on it. The other sun signs need to kind of really realize that they have an ongoing relationship with themselves, first and foremost, too. So we got this going on, and Mars right now will be moving into your sign a little bit later this month, and you will see how that's going to pick up all this energy of what you're dreaming about today, because you are dreaming behind the scenes. You're aware of it, but you may not be expressing all of these hopes and dreams and the changes that you're foreseeing to the outer world quite yet. But then after the 21st, when Mars does go into your sign, and then of course, happy birthday to you Geminis, born after this day, Mars will now be showing up in your personality stronger than ever. So you get this experience once every 2 years to have either a few weeks, sometimes it's longer depending if Mars is retrograde at the time, but you have a few weeks every other year where you get the visitation from Mars. And so you're definitely going to be feeling it. The more conscious you are of it, you will see what kind of a drive this really is. So we have other retrogrades this month too. Now we know that Mercury will be retrograde and will be to May 14th. We have Venus that is retrograde until April 15th. But then we have Saturn. Saturn will be retrograding April 6th through August 26th. For you, that is in your relationship area, Gemini. So what is that doing for you? You already know how it feels now because Saturn's been here for quite a few months. So you've been feeling this interaction between you and either your significant other or anybody you work with very closely, one-on-one, regarded as a partnership. Well, then you know how that is already at the time working for you, but when it retrogrades, you'll feel that some of the edge is taken off. It kind of softens a little bit because Saturn holds us by the ear. It's the inner mastering up where we're expressing this energy, and for you it is relationships. So when the pressure is off, you can really relax a little bit and feel that whatever has been in the works since that of late autumn of 2016 can now just lay there and kind of like, I won't say smolder, but work in the backgrounds, so to speak, because there's been a great focus here. So it will work more quietly, should I say, for you. Yeah, and then we got Pluto. April 21st will retrograde. Pluto for you is in your 8th house for monies that you have with others. It's shared resources. But that also means the money you have in the bank, insurance policies, investments, and so forth. When Pluto takes a back seat, then you're not really pushing to make things work or to build a security. It's not that focal point. It's more now you're trusting it for it to do its things. You've probably got all your ducks in a row, and now that can just take care of itself until September 29th. So from October onwards, I can see how that energy again will mark itself where you're thinking, I need to do this and I need to do that. But it's that need that you keep hearing constantly. That's what's going to back off a little bit for you right now, where you're simply just going to be trusting that it can just, sail along for now. So let's start. Top of the month, what do we have here at Gemini? And I do want to mention before we get further into it, if you're not receiving your videos in your email, which you should if you are a subscriber, and it has come to my knowledge not everybody are receiving them, well then it's all about going up to your settings there on YouTube, and probably what's showing up there is that you have checked off where you're just receiving occasional videos from YouTube. So you want to just change up that little check mark to accept or receive your subscriptions, and you should have these videos as soon as fresh when they come out, right? So on April 3rd, Venus is then moving out of Aries, which is your 11th house. You've had a little touch, a little feel here for just a week or so, but now it's going back into your career house. What Venus retrograde in your career house will do for you, it's going to be there for a number of weeks, is going to allow you to look back over proposals from earlier. I mentioned that. But it's also looking at how you can change things up at work. your career. There might be some setbacks, might be delays in projects. Don't let that stress you out. It is what it is, right? You just want to listen to their music and do the dance, like flow around it the best you can. Then we have in the 6th, this is great. This is Mars and Pluto in a beautiful trine. Mars being in your 12th house, Pluto here in your 8th house. Both of them are water houses or psychic houses. This tells me that you're very on par with your intuitive energies right now, working at what is important for you to get everything up and running, setting your investments straight, and you want to get that done before April 21st. So whether you have stocks and other kinds of investments, look at it now, because after the 21st, that's when the retrograde starts. But on the 6th, this is a great day for you to look at whatever it is you're trying to punch through. Your physical energy is extremely high. Your passion is also extremely high here at this time. The 7th to the 9th, we have a couple of days where we just want to be that much more aware of what we're saying and doing, the choices that we make. Sometimes when we make a choice, we just look at the one side of the coin and say, I'm going for this, right? But we kind of look at the back side of that coin too, because if not, well, then that's going to rear its head, and then maybe it's too late to make amendments. So I'm seeing on the 8th and the 9th, Venus is going to be squaring off on Saturn. This could be a relationship thing for you, since Saturn is in your 7th house. And but it could be a partner that you work with at work, since Venus now being in your 10th house for career. So it could be a situation between you and a coworker, things that are being said or done that might just be rubbing you the wrong way, and having to take some action on it. On the 14th, be prepared for a little surprise. This is when Sun and Uranus, they are conjunct. It happens one day a year that the Sun will meet up with Uranus. For you, it's in your area of hopes and dreams, so this could be a great OMG. Maybe something now is popping through and you can receive it, but there could also be just unexpected news coming from a circle of friends, or maybe you will excite or also even shock them with some good news as well. 15th, that is when Venus goes direct, as mentioned, but here we have the romantic evening of the month, and that is April 17th. For some of you, it might even go to a certain point of engagement, because why? Not only do we have Venus and Mars beautifully aligned here, harmoniously, you might find a new partner if you're single, and if you are in a relationship, it's just one of those really feel-good days and evenings. But we have the Sun also coming up here with Saturn that wants to lock something in, that wants to secure this good feel. And so having these transits all together on the 17th, well, hey, listen, it can't get better than that. On the 19th, the Sun moves into Taurus, and so that is out of your 11th house, where you've been extremely social up to this point, now feeling like you just want to pull back a little bit. That's where the 12th house is, meaning like moving back into maybe our own heads, right? The 12th house is very spiritual. It's time to internalize what's been going on now for the last 11 months, right, on a solar cycle. The 12th place is always about recharging. It's time to do yoga, it's time to meditate, or just read a book, be a little quiet. On the 20th, we have the Sun and retrograde Mercury meeting up. And actually this is taking place right there on the cusp between the 11th and 12th house. So you might find yourself crossing. It's like, yes, it's being very busy as you're getting out of that social circle, but Mercury's still going back into it. So you might just find that this is a very sensitive time to bring up and communicate and share whatever it is that is important. This is on the 20th. 21st, Mars is moving into your sign. I think you're going to love that, Gemini. This is you now with your rockets, boosters, full of energy, taking off into the world with all those things that you've been thinking about and contemplating, as Mars has been in your 12th house area of spirituality, inner creativity, thinking up a storm, dreaming a storm of the things that you would like now to do as it starts out on a new 2-year journey. So whatever it is that you're going to be shunting out to the public, they will now see where you have been and what you've concluded, but where now your hopes, dreams, and goals are going. So this is a very energetic time. You get this visitation with Mars to your sign once every 2 years. So I think you're going to love this. On the 21st also, though, there might be an agreement difficulty where you're not seeing things the same way. It could be romantically, Venus is involved, but it doesn't have to be. It's squared to Saturn, so that could be with a significant other. It could be with a father figure. It could be with an official figure. Saturn always represents officials. It rules the government and whatnot. So there's a clash right here, but thank God it's not going to be lingering too long. But it's moving a little slower than normal because Venus is retrograde, meaning it's kind of like snailing its way. So if it lingers for a few days, look at it as an opportunity for you to get in there, speak your mind, clear things up, don't shy away from it, because since it's retrograde, it's karmic, and it's with Saturn. Saturn is also not just a ruler of karma, but Saturn too is retrograde. So both of them are bringing up unfinished business from the past. Now, for you, this is again between your relationship, 7th house, and also your career within the field that you work. So that could be with a boss, a co-worker, a partner, or it could be with a project that might need to kind of like find its way. But be open. This is how it's going to solve itself. Then we have on the 24th, great communication coming in, and Mercury and Saturn, really figuring it out. Now, Mercury too, being retrograde, and Saturn being retrograde, just like Venus here the other day on the 24th, it is going to walk over those grounds where you saw things come to head on the 24th. Well, no, on the 21st. On the 24th, Mercury is going to find a solution. And I feel it's a solution that both parties are going to be really happy and satisfied with. And if it has to do with somebody from the past, that could be an ex, or it could just be anybody in your past that's popping up. Well, this is what we call closure, right? And being able to have that done in a good way so you can release it and move on. The last aspect of the month is Mercury here with Uranus. And I always like to call that the wild card, the OMG, like now what? The wild factor, or the wow factor. This is coming together for you in your social area. So it could be a fantastic new idea coming to you like on a beam of light. And once you see it, we always got to think Mercury is linear when we think our way through new situations. But Uranus delivers full downloads and boom, it's right there, right in an instantaneous flash. So pay attention, Gemini, to see what that actually is for you. Even if you can't take action on it on the very day, the idea of itself, you can tuck that away and bring it up later on down the road when you can find time to implement it. But I'm sure you're going to find this very, very amusing. And there could also be some news coming to you from some of your friends, circle of friends, and so forth.